Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at Shadow Gengar in the Open Great League. This Pokemon got a huge buff this season with Shadow Punch doing more damage. This thing now has also even more play against the current meta. The current meta really benefits this Pokemon, and so yeah, let's take a look here at our team. We're going to have the Say Swap of the Dunsparce. Dunsparce are one of the strongest Pokemon right now to run. This thing is a great Say Swap and just a great generalist as well. We're going to have in the back the Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz going to be one of the best Pokemon right now as well, being one of the bulkiest boys out there. And yeah, this team was so much fun. I did not expect that Gengar would be that strong. Like, honestly, this Pokemon was so much fun to run because the current meta is so weak against it, which is so funny because there are so many Fairy type Pokemon especially. That's why we also run Sludge Bomb as our secondary charge move, which we can now do. Before, there was a bit of an issue with Sludge Bomb. You just didn't have really the damage output, generally speaking, against like any neutral scenario. But thanks to the buff of Shadow Punch, you now have that damage output, and that is going to help you out quite a bit more. And so we can run Shadow Punch and the Sludge Bomb. Before, Shadow Ball was kind of needed because it does way more damage. But Sludge Bomb is going to give you better coverage. You still have enough fast move pressure and charge move pressure with this Pokemon anyway. And so here we're gonna actually go up against my Nemesis. Honestly, Low Kicks is literally the one Pokemon that I dislike the most to go up against. But as you can see, the opponent decides to go for a charge move here. This is going to be the Exeter coming through, and we're gonna try our best to still knock them out here with those aerial aces. First one is here coming through, second one is coming through here as well. We're gonna try to swap and catch the move, didn't work out. But we can still go for a charge move somehow. And so this is going to be enough to knock them out. We still have a shield, I think, left. And so we can go for the full farm against the Feraligatr as well to win the first battle. So let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have the Ariados in the lead. This Pokemon is going to be very good for us because Gengar actually resists every single move from them. Lunge is double resisted, the Trail Base is single resisted, then I guess you have Shadow Sneak potentially on the Ariados, which nobody plays because Shadow Sneak is a bad move, which would be super effective. But as you can see, we're going to have a great matchup here, and the opponent decides to forfeit immediately. Next opponent, we're going to have the Jumpluff in the lead. This is going to be again a very decent lead for us, but it's not actually as good as you might think. And so we decide to swap out as our backline actually can deal with it quite well. And also, we're going to get out the opponent's Machamp, which is a very solid one for us, because now we're going to be able to align ourselves accordingly, and we're also still going to have a flying type against the grass type later on in the back, so that's going to be great. We sadly, with this kind of matchup, we barely not get to the drill run there. I wonder if I had a bit better IVs on my Dunsparce, if the matchup would be a bit different. But here we're still going to be able to take the knockout, and in the back is going to be a Marowak, which is not ideal. And so here is one thing. I kind of, I don't know, missed like how I really wanted to finish that battle here. And so I was a bit confused or whatever in this point, like where I want to use my shields, what do I really want to do here. And so the opponent gets me actually quite low here already, which can be a bit of a problem. The opponent uses a shield though, which I feel like is good for me. I think it is better for me if they use it here. But yeah, Aerial Ace is barely doing any damage from the opponent, but our Aerial Ace is going to do super effective damage, which you're gonna see here as well, but just barely not enough to two-shot them, so it's a bit tricky. We can go for another one here as well, and we could even try to swap out and try to knock them out with that Gengar, which I try to do here, which does actually work out because we can let the move go through, and the extra fast move should be enough to knock them. We can still survive, we can go for a Shadow Punch, and so everything is looking like we will be able to win this battle here, right? We're gonna get the final shield. We still have 2 shields left, and there's no reason for me to not use all my shields here, and I think 2 Dark Pulse should be all it takes to knock them out, so let's find it out here. And I decide to no shield. And of course I decide to no shield the worst possible move there, so good job me there. Don't really go by this, but yeah, we can at least move on to the next opponent. That was silly, I could have won this battle for sure there. Next opponent, we're going to have Dunsparce in the lead, horrible for us, especially as we have our own Dunsparce as our say, so it means we're going to be always one fast move late, so there's no possible reason or way of winning this matchup here for us. We're going to try our best to go for one drill run, does some decent damage, but again, there's no real way of allowing us to win this battle here, which is a bit of an annoying thing for sure. But yeah, as you're gonna see, the opponent's gonna decide to go ahead and go for their own charge move again. It's going to be a drill run, and I can go for my drill run eventually as well, maybe. I could use a shield to get them a bit lower. Let's see what I'm gonna do. I decided to use a shield here as well. I can overfarm by a bit because also my Mandibuzz does not really enjoy Dunsparce, and this makes Dunsparce most likely most difficult Pokemon to deal with for this team. Here we're gonna get rid of this Pokemon though, and they're gonna have, I think, a Galate there in the back. We have 2 good answers, so I can go for a Drill Run, I can swap out here and try to go for the full farm down with my Gengar, which does not work out. Just going to be a resisted Leaf Blade, but it's still doing so much damage that maybe a shield would have been better for me. But honestly, I don't actually think so. There's going to be, Clodsire here in the back. I can go for 1 Shadow Punch, get the shield. I can go for another Shadow Punch and either get a ton of damage or the shield as well. And I still have some HP and I think even a bit of energy on the Dunsparce, I think. And so I might be even able to use my Dunsparce later on as well. Here we're gonna take 1 Stone Edge, and we can even take another Stone Edge here if I want to. They don't really put me into farmland range with it. I decided to use a shield here, which doesn't really matter because again, they don't really put me into farmland range with this move. I can go for the Aerial Ace because I have to hit 2 charge moves anyway, most likely at least. I decided to go for a Dark Pulse now. This is mostly not enough, so almost a double Aerial Ace would have been better again. Maybe it's going to be enough to farm them all the way down, so maybe this was actually the play to go. But yeah, as we gotta see here as well, Stone Edge is coming through, we can go for the full Snarl down, or even for another Aerial Ace here, and win this battle with this very lovely team. So let's see who is gonna go up against our Shadow Gengar next. It's going to be an Azumarill, and this is again a very favorable matchup for us. We have access to the Sludge Bomb, and we're always going to outspeed them to it as well. And so the opponent is going to here actually go for the Charge Move first because I want to have a bit better fast move timing. I was a bit confused about the fast move timing here because they're running Play Rough as well as the Hydro Pump. I decided to go for the bait, which turns out to not be that great. But at least I can still overfarm by quite a bit here. I have a ton of energy on my Gengar, and basically no Pokemon really wants to take that. They decide to swap out into their own Dunsparce. Again, that's going to make it a bit more of an awkward matchup here, so you're going to be forced to swap out as well. But we still have a Sludge Bomb stored in theory, and I can just take the hits here. And as soon as I get this Pokemon a bit lower, we should be kind of fine because, again, our Pokemon in the back was weak to both Dunsparce as well as the Azumarill. So there's quite a decent chance that there's a Pokemon weak to Mandibuzz in the back, just to cover up basically the weaknesses. That could be something like an Alolan Marowak would make some sense here for this current meta. Actually, I was really thinking about bringing back Azumarill Double Ghost, but yeah, as you can see here, I'm gonna catch the move, gonna catch a Drill Run onto our Mandibuzz, which is gonna be great because it's a double resisted hit, and we're gonna be able to at least, take 1 hit there as well, but they're gonna have the Clodsire in the back, a Pokemon that I did not really expect. But if you know already, we have quite a ton of energy on our other Pokemon still. We need 1 more Fast Move on our Dunsparce to get to the Charge Move. We have already a Sludge Bomb stored on our Gengar, so we're going to be in a very favorable position. We can go for another Dark Pulse here, just going to try to always have perfect Fast Move timing. What I mean with this is, against something like a 2-turn versus 3-turn, we have the 3-turn move. You always want to go for like an odd number of 3-turn moves to have the perfect Fast Move timing. So 1, 3, 4, 5 or something like this, in order to not allow the opponent to sneak in a free Fast Move, which is quite important. And yeah, that's kind of what I mean with that. But anyway, we're going to be able to now go back into our Mandibuzz. We can easily take that Rock Slide there. We can go for the full farm now. We have a Charge Move stored now, and there is nothing the opponent can really do about it. And so Clodsire is going to get very, very low with that one. We still have our Dunsparce, we still have a Drill Run, and that is going to be game. Again, this team is very good together, very nice team effort, and we can move on to the next opponent. We're going to have a Clefable in the lead, and that is going to be an interesting matchup, and that's going to be a very favorable matchup for us, especially as they're going to be able to go for the Sludge Bomb here. Sludge Bomb is going to be enough to knock them out if they let the move go through, expecting me to go for the bait, but they didn't, and so I decided to use a shield as well, because the Moonblast for sure would not knock me out here as well. Like, I'm very, very squishy, like, I'm so squishy that even a resisted hit like Moonblast would be guaranteed a knockout against us. So, Shadow Punch is coming through, we're going to be able to swap out into our rollout user Dunsparce. This is going to be great, as Swift is going to do barely any damage. We're going to try our best to go for another Drill Run afterwards, but the opponent decides to go for their other charge move, which is going to be Swift. They're running Swift and Psychic, which is quite an interesting moveset, I have to admit. And this is going to be good for us, because now we're going to get rid of the opponent's Pokemon. They still have a shield, but no, we still have a shield, but we're going to also have no switch advantage, so that's going to be great. We're going to have a Gastron against us, where we can align our Mandibuzz against, and as long as I don't have a hard Core Breaker to both Gengar as well as Mandibuzz, we should be fine here. Let's see what they're going to have in the back. I'm fairly certain it's looking really, really good for us. I don't know a single Pokemon that would be problematic for us. Drifblim is not one Pokemon that's going to be problematic for us, because we have super effective coverage here with the Dark Pulse, we have super effective coverage here with the Shadow Claw, and so we can knock them out and win this battle here. Good game there. Next opponent. Let's see what they're going to have here. It is going to be another Zoomer, and so we're gonna stay in here. We're gonna try to play out this matchup. Again, you could actually even decide to go straight for the Sludge Bomb if you wanted to. Here, we're gonna get out the opponent's Digger Speed, which we can try to retaliate with our Mandibus. The matchup is not as clear, especially if they don't, like, if they run Hyper Beam here. Hyper Beam is going to allow them to actually win this matchup, so Digger Speed is actually a very interesting Pokemon. Like this one quite a bit. Fire Punch is going to give you better coverage, or like better fast coverage basically, and so that means they're not running Hyper Beam, they're running Scorching Sand, which is totally fine for us because now this matchup is going to be way better for us, and we can just go ahead and go for another charge move here. It's going to be quite a nice. Dark Pulse is going to two-shot them now afterwards as well. I can let the moves go through again, like Fire Punch does like, what, 10% maybe of our health, which is totally fine. And I know that one more Dark Pulse is not enough, so I decided to go for an Aerial Ace, so we can hit 2 Aerial Aces, which should be enough to knock them out. And so we can realign. Realignment is quite nice for us, especially as we know that they have the Azumarill still there in the back. But I could even decide to swap out into my Gengar now afterwards, expecting that they have someone in the back that we can actually still deal with a Gengar. I am going to be able to go for the bait here as well, going for the Shadow Punch, getting the shield from the opponent. They decided to go for their own charge move. I decided to use a shield here as well because we still have some decent amount of energy on the Gengar, and they're going to have Clodsire in the back, and that's quite lovely for us. What we're going to see here is how much damage we actually do with Shadow Punch plus Shadow Claw, and it is ridiculous. Look at this. Like, Clodsire is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the current meta, and it's going to get two-shot by Shadow Punch, which was formerly known as one of the weakest moves in the game. This move now is so much better, and as you're gonna see, the opponent goes down to this one. We can go for another Shadow Punch against the opponent's Azumarill, and we can just even go ahead and go for another fast move and go for another Shadow Punch against them to get them into a range where one Drill Run should be enough to knock them out. There's no way they can knock out a Dunsparce in time, especially as we got the free fast move in here as well. And so the opponent is gonna go down no matter what moves that they have and what they want to do here. Drill Run is going to be enough. And again, like, this team is amazing. Next opponent, we're going to see here the Gaston in the lead, which is a horrible matchup for us. Like, literally one of the worst. Mud Slappers in the lead can be quite difficult, as our lead is weak to Mud Slappers. Makes sense. And also our Saysop is going to have fastball coverage that's weak to them as well. Here we're going to see a rollout Ferrothorn apparently. Like, fast move animations still look completely bugged, but yeah, Ferrothorn is a bit of a trickier one. Oh, I actually remember this battle. I make a huge mistake in this battle, which I knew as well at the point. I just kind of got distracted on the side and just didn't really pay too much attention. Here's the thing. Gengar is so squishy that you really don't want to take a hit here, even if it's like a neutral one and not a stab one. And so as I use a shield here and farm me all the way down, I knew that I would need to use a shield here with my Gengar. But I didn't, for whatever reason. Like, I should have really used the shield here on the Thunder. I still remember, like, I literally was immediately like, what the hell did I do there? That didn't make any sense at all. I can still try my best here, but like, I completely made it so much worse for myself by getting rid of that Gengar like this. There was no reason for it. Like, literally zero. Just use your shields on your squishy Pokemon and stuff, your bulky Pokemon. There was no reason for me to do any of the things that I did there. So, my bad. Definitely just a misplay by... For me, I definitely know I just got distracted by other people talking to me at that point. So, yeah, this is what it is. We're gonna see here. Still a matchup against Gaston. Maybe our Mandibus is going to be enough to knock them all out. Let's find out here. Dark Pulse gonna take the knockout there. They're going to have in the back a Dunsparce, and so I think I would have lost anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Dunsparce, again, as said before, is kind of a core breaker for Gengar plus Mandibus. But as you will see here as well, the opponent is going to have a Clodsire. Clodsire is going to be great for us, as we can again use a shield here. Sludge Bombs would be double resisted, but it doesn't really matter, as yeah, Gengar is again so squishy that you really want to use a shield against anything that is, yeah, remotely doing any damage. So here we can still go for a Shadow Punch. Get them quite low again afterwards. Again, here the opponent decides to use a shield, and I might be able to fully farm them down, which would be quite hilarious. Stone Edge is coming through. They're running Sludge Bomb Stone Edge. That doesn't make sense. But they decided to go into, yeah, the Dragonite here. And yes, I have a Pokemon that has super effective coverage against this Pokemon here with the Dunsparce. But I'd rather go into my Mandibus, as I don't want to get hit by a Superpower on a normal type Pokemon. Superpower is not even coming through here, which is great for us because Superpower does more damage. Foul Play, Dark Pulse here, definitely going to be enough to knock them out. And let's see what is coming in next. It is going to be... Oh, let's find out. It's going to be the Machamp. That is not ideal, but also not too bad. They're still forced to go for a charge move against me. I can align my Gengar still against them. I swap out into my Gengar, which I don't think really makes too much sense here. I don't know why I did this. because I didn't have shields most likely. Anyway, we're gonna get them kind of low, but we have to kind of hope that maybe Dunsparce can do something here. And that is going to be a bit more of a trickier one for sure. We're gonna see that we can go ahead and go for the drill run against the opponent's Clodsire. This is going to be enough to knock them out, and as we have another drill run stored and the opponent went only for 3 fast moves, we're going to be able to outspeed them, and this is going to be it for this video. Honestly, this team was amazing. Like, I climbed a lot of rating with this team for whatever reason, and yeah, Gengar is a cool core breaker for the current meta. Definitely try it out, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.